We wanted to tell stories about individuals.
Donald Hawse listened to war stories his whole life, stories from his father, a veteran of the First World War.
$1 a day was what they got paid for fighting in World War I. $1 a day.
And 60 cents of that he sent home to his mother. So that says something about his character, though.
Instead of being honored for his sacrifice like other soldiers, Donald's father was snubbed.
Nobody ever believed him when I was a child.
No one believed him because the name Joseph Hawse didn't exist in any war records.
So every day I fought on the way to school somebody who would have a comment about both my family or me or my dad, most likely.
His father was 48 years old when Donald was born, 13 children in total, living hand to mouth in this home in St. Lawrence.
Our house had no running water, we had no bathtub, so we didn't have a lot, but we had each other.
Donald always knew something was broken inside his father.
He would spend days just staring into space. Now, the first time I earned money, I earned 35 cents. And I took the money to the store and bought my dad a cigar. And I just thought, he deserves a cigar.
He thought his father deserved better. He deserved to be recognized. So when Donald was 11 years old, he asked the Queen for help.
He had served for England. And so why don't we write to the Queen? Really didn't expect a response, but when we did get a response, it was that the closest person that we could find to the person that you purport to be is a Joseph Hawse, regimental number 5574. And my dad said, well, that's my number.
Right number, wrong name.
It was a catch-22. We could never get the file to prove that it was one and the same.
But it was clear what happened. Joseph couldn't read or write. When he enlisted, he couldn't even spell his own name.
You have to picture this, okay? This is a probable shy 17-year-old boy with a Bay accent. And they wrote what they heard, and what they heard was Joseph Hawse.
Hawse became Halls. His hometown of Lewins Cove became Lewis Cove. Small spelling mistakes, big consequences for a boy who just wanted to serve.
I think it was his proudest moment ever. He had now sworn to serve king and country.
He gave 1 year and 33 days to the war, a sacrifice that would go unrecognized.
At some point he gave up. There were days we went without food. We depended on welfare.
There was no pension, no support, no pride. Then, decades after Joseph's death in 1980, those private records became public. When Donald found out, he called Larry Dowie.
But when I discovered that as an 11-year-old he writes the Queen to get information on his father, I said, this is a man that is quite determined, and I will do everything in my power to help him find the father that he lost.
Larry came back and said, this, in fact, is your father. First I cried like a baby. And then, after that, it was just jubilation, because now I knew it was the same person. Okay? Name was spelled wrong, but I knew.
Records have been corrected. He is now one of the regiment. He'll always be part of that regiment, that family of young soldiers that left Newfoundland to fight for king and country.
Joseph Hawse of Lewins Cove is now officially a veteran.
Probably the most emotional experience of my life, because had it happened while he was alive, his life would have been different. God, I wish he had seen it.
The land has changed a lot since grandfather lived here.
In St. Lawrence, other members of the Hawse family find comfort knowing that Joseph Hawse finally has a place in history.
We're all proud of all the Hawses, and Uncle Joe's looking down right now and saying, "Yes, Lloyd, I am a proud man."
His headstone will be taken down and the caribou will be put on there, and also his war number.
But there's another spelling mistake that won't be fixed.
Some clergy knew the Bible and believed in the spiritual life, but they were poor spellers.
Yes, the clergy spelled Hawse with a U, and that U stuck. But that spelling mistake became part of the family's identity, an identity that's now complete.
If there is a heaven and a God, my dad is sitting there saying, "I told you so."